So I've been messing with iOS 27 ever since the beta has came out, and there's a lot of things in here that I think that a lot of people would appreciate that Apple is currently doing. And I truly believe that with this update of it being a lot more polished, people are going to compare this to the latest, I think, like renovation of iOS, if that makes sense. And some of these features you probably wouldn't have expected that it would actually work, especially on my 15 Pro, but that's going to be early on in the video. But first thing is honestly the little things, and the first little thing is the renovation with CarPlay. Now with CarPlay, you get a lot more customizations. You still get the different icons and such like that and different wallpapers, but we actually finally got a CarPlay slider so you can slide all the way to the left or all the way to the right whenever you're choosing your media. I'm not sure why Apple didn't do this, especially with them releasing CarPlay Ultra on certain vehicles, but we didn't get a slider. That's kind of weird. Oh, and speaking of sliders, we actually get a separate one for the alarm volume. Better to be now or never, right? Now it's time for the important stuff, which was actually on the keynote, and that is the photo editing stuff. Now there's a bunch of new editing features that comes with iOS 27, and the two new ones is reframe and extend, and they are exactly how you probably think it is. You reframe the picture by, making it at a different angle, and it low-key is pretty cool. I tried it a couple of times and it was just very sketchy on how they can just reinvent the surroundings of that said picture. Same thing with extend, like you can just have it kind of broad out and have it their own picture and such. And Marquez low-key brought up a good point of, is this really your picture? Even though you're letting another, like a piece of software technically change it. Yep, I don't have an answer with that either. Now, if you are trying to do this offline, I'm sorry, but you simply just can't. You need a Wi-Fi connection that can, obviously hold up the cloud and such to generate all of that. There's actually subtle tweaks that Apple implemented into this update that is really neat, like better visibility on certain apps. Like if you look at the Maps icon, you actually have a liquid glass slider going above the arrow. And speaking of liquid glass, you actually get a slider in settings to where you can have it all the way to the right and it can just be non-transparent. I put it all the way to the left because liquid glass is growing on me, but it's really nice to give people a lot more choices than to just lock them into a certain thing. I mean, why do you think everybody is now migrating to Android? And the swipe down feature is now complementing the new Siri AI that they were talking about, which brings us to the next thing, which is Siri AI. And honestly, I hope they just keep the name, because just having it switch from Siri to Apple Intelligence and then just say, you know what, let's just squash it together and just call it Siri AI. Like, I just really hope they just keep this name. But yeah, Siri is in the new model, which is Google Gemini's AI model, and it brings out a lot of cool things that Siri can do that everybody has been already doing with Gemini, like better dictation on what you're actually trying to ask, human-like responses. Like I was in the car the other day and we was just having a pretty decent conversation. I was talking about a couple of, cars that I was interested in, and it was just naming off a lot of like reliability stuff. Like, what's the reliability score of a Chevy Volt?
The Chevrolet Volt generally has an above-average reliability score of 4 out of 5 from RepairPal. However, ratings from other sources like Consumer Reports and JD Power vary depending on the specific model year. Are you looking for the reliability score of a specific model year?
Yes, I'm looking for a specific model year and reliability score of a 2016 Chevy Volt.
The 2016 Chevy Volt has mixed reliability ratings depending on the source. US News gives it an above-average score of 3.5 out of 5, while RepairPal rates it a 4 out of 5. However, Consumer Reports states it is less reliable than other cars from that model year. Because 2016 was the first year of a major redesign, some owners have reported issues like software glitches, charging system bugs, and transmission sensor failures. Would you like to hear about the specific recalls or common problems reported for this model?
Nah, I'm good. But as you're talking to her and she's giving you the responses, you can actually slide down from that bubble all the way down to see the full, picture. But then you can also slide fully down to open up the new Siri AI app. And honestly, I really enjoy the new animation of having Siri in a liquid glass bubble up in the top where the dynamic island is. That is low key kind of cool. She also has on-screen awareness of like, hey, if you have a picture of a dog and you're asking her, hey, what kind of dog is on my screen? It will tell you, or it will give you suggestions of what that dog could be. Or if you're like, hey, I'm trying to look for this type of controller, where can I find it? It can give you those things as well. Now, for Siri on the iPhone 15 Pro, you don't really get that extra setting to customize her voice fully. You still get some aspects of it, but you don't get that new, tab where you can actually tune her voice. And after you fully updated your phone, you're actually going to get a prompt of optimizing for Siri AI, and that's, I think, only for the 15 Pro and up. I'm not really sure if it's going to be on 14 Pro and down, but I know for certain that it's on 15. And with these new animations and features and a bunch of different stuff that Apple decided to implement with this update, it actually comes true whenever they talked about optimizing for better, performance on your phone. And I'm gonna keep it very real with you guys. Ever since I got this 15 Pro and I had it updated to iOS 26, it was severely slow. Like I couldn't do majority of the things, and I was really thinking about updating it to an iPhone 17 Pro. But with this update, even though it is a beta version, it definitely helped a lot with opening apps, fixing the keyboard, honestly fixing the battery health of less drainage throughout those times that I'm using my phone. And I really have to give Apple their props about it, because I was one of those people too, talking about, hey, if you update your phone to the nearest software, your phone will, slow down, and, you have to replace it and such. And that's honestly not the case with iOS 27. It actually optimized my phone, stabilized my hardware components, and even made AirDrop a lot faster. Now, I don't really use AirDrop that much. I use LocalSend because I have a Windows laptop. Maybe I'll switch to a Mac, but it's nice to see that that is there. And honestly, if you want to try this beta out for yourself, I have to let you know that if you are going to be doing this, you need to back up your iPhone before updating it to that beta software, especially if you're coming from the developer beta and you're coming back. Make sure you back up your iPhone. If you are going to be doing it, you can just hop over to the appleid.com and have like a / of beta testing, fill out your information, and you can just plug in your Apple ID and it will just send that update to you. But overall, I think this update is very polished, especially for a beta. And I hope they continuously polish it and optimize it as each different beta versions come. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep testing this out, so whenever the full, release comes out, I can give out my full review on it. But what do you guys think? And what is your favorite features of this iOS 27 beta if you did end up downloading it? I'll be very interested to see what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.